com. Today we're going to complete the story we started yesterday of the great event that's happening in Meridian, live from the Temple 2, which is coming out April the 30th, or happening April the 30th, and it's Nashville's Songwriters Showcase. And joining us to finish the conversation is Miss Shelley Whitehead, along with what I hear, legendary Ken Rainey. Hey, guys.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
We're doing really well. And Shelley, we had some technical difficulties yesterday, but there's a chance someone may not have been listening, and today is their lucky day. So live from the Temple, give us the rundown of why you guys started this, and it was a success to do round 2.
Well, I'll take this one. A couple of months ago, or last year, we came together with Ken Rainey and the Temple Theater, and Ken has produced over 2,000 shows on the stage at the Temple Theater. And she is a historic theater here in Meridian, Mississippi, and she just needs a little extra love and care. And she just has the legend of so many country music stars getting their start of their career from the Temple Theater. And so that's why we really wanted to come together and put together the Temple Restoration Initiative, which is a third-party nonprofit for the Temple Theater. And so back in December, we had 25 local or regional artists that came and performed like a Grand Ole Opry style show, and it was fantastic. And we raised close to $10,000. And what we've decided to do is we wanted to kind of build on that brand, and we wanted to bring in professional songwriters to try to help inspire, the surrounding areas of people to learn about songwriting, the art of songwriting. And Ken Rainey is notorious for inspiring musicians. So, Ken, if you want to tell us just a little bit about your history with the Temple Theater.
Well, I started in 1967, which was a few years ago. And since that time, as you said, we've booked about 2,000 different artists on the stage of the Temple Theater. And it's about 100 years old now, and it needs a little love and tender care.
She's not quite as old as you. She is older than you, Ken.
She liked to get me, Rebecca.
She did. And I was doing the math, and I was like, no, you're 82 years wise. There is no way you're over.
She's older.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful, beautiful theater, and the acoustics in that theater are the greatest in the South. And so we're bringing in 3 of Nashville, Tennessee's best songwriters. And, of course, that's Win Barble and Don Portress, and also Bryce Long. And to give you a little background real quick, because I know you got a time element, but Win Barble wrote a song called Waiting on a Woman, if you remember that song. And Don Portress has won 5 Dove Awards for Christian music. And Bryce Long wrote a song called Anything Goes for Randy Houser. So these are all professional songwriters that are coming into the Temple on Sunday.
After all these years, Ken, do you still get excited when there's a new event or fresh faces that are coming to the Temple stage?
I always get excited because the Temple is famous for having surprise guests to just show up the day of show, and we don't ever know who that might be. Like we've had Willie Nelson to show up unexpected. We've had Merle Haggard to show up. So we've had a lot of big-name country music artists to show up when they weren't scheduled. So we're looking for that to happen on Sunday also.
Oh, you never know. You'll have to get your tickets, and you'll have to come. Shelley, how do we do that? How do we get our tickets for Live from the Temple that's coming up Sunday, April the 30th?
Well, just go to itickets.com and search for Live from the Temple. Tickets are $20 now, but they will be $25 at the door. So if you want to save a little bit of money, go ahead and purchase those tickets. That also just helps us with, being able to buy food and being able to, figure out concessions. And guess what? Kids under 15 are free. So this is a family show. This is a family event, and it's something we're really excited about, and excited about these guys coming to Meridian.
We sure are excited, and of course this is after church and before nighttime church, so we shouldn't interfere with anything you're doing on Sunday as far as religion goes.
Well, and I was going to say it makes for just a great afternoon, too, to get out and sort of see some of the other sites. Because where is Temple Theater? They're in Meridian, if someone's maybe coming through or thinking about making kind of a whole weekend out of it.
Well, the temple is in downtown Meridian, and actually SuperTalk Studios Meridian is 2 blocks down from the Temple Theater. And our brand new 3-foot hotel is on the same block as SuperTalk Studios, so you could stay at the 3-foot hotel and literally walk to the Temple Theater.
Kim, what's it like watching all the effort go into preserving somewhere you've literally called work and probably home for the last, math is hard, but 40, 50 years?
Well, I've been in radio and TV for 56 years.
I was close.
It's always exciting to me to have a live performance in the Temple Theater. And if we had enough people just to realize what they will be doing is sitting in a historic place, and nothing else, any place in the South is going to match this theater. And to sit in the seats that people have sat in to see a brand new artist like Randy Travis, and 4 times Merle Haggard, 3 times Willie Nelson, Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette, George Jones, on and on and on. It's a great opportunity to sit where all these performers have performed.
50 years ago, Ken, what drew you to the profession, or I guess the industry, if you want to think of it that way, of radio and entertainment? From what I know, you sort of stumbled into it?
Well, I did stumble into it. 2 blocks from where the 103.3 studio is, I worked for the Meridian Star newspaper, and the sales manager fired me. Thank you, sales manager. I wish I could find him. I'd buy him a new car because he got me in radio. I walked 2 blocks and asked the radio people to hire me to sell radio ads, and they did, and that was 56 years ago.
Well, you kind of moved your way up, though, within the ranks. You didn't just sell ads. You became a promoter. You became a host. Did you always have your eyes set on, getting behind the mic, or did that, too, just sort of happenstance?
No, that was an accident also. I never dreamed I'd be on the air, and I ended up doing 6 a.m. till 9 a.m., and at 9:05 I'd leave radio and run over to the TV station, the CBS station here, and do a 1-hour live television show. And so all of this is just the Lord's will, and just accidentally that all happened.
Hey, Rebecca, I just want to give a plug about a new show that we're airing here on SuperTalk Meridian 103.3 FM every Wednesday at 9 a.m. We actually are airing a show called All About Country with Ken Rainey. So if you guys think that you might want to listen to Ken's history of everything he's done, not just for our city, but for country music broadcasting and our state in general, tune in or live stream from SuperTalk Meridian on Wednesdays at 9 a.m.
Ken, are you ever going to retire?
Do what?
Are you ever going to retire, or will they not let you?
I hope I'm like a big Labrador retriever in motion when I go.
Well, you hang around that station long, and they'll definitely do that for you. I want to keep you around, though. I know we're coming up to a break here shortly, Ken, because I'd love for you to share some of your stories. But, Shelley, go back and tell us about Live from the Temple again. That's coming up again April the 30th at 2 p.m. there at the Temple Theater. Where do we go for tickets and anything else we need to know?
So go to iTickets.com and search Live from the Temple 2, Nashville Songwriters Showcase. And tickets, again, are $20 pre-purchase, and they're $25 at the door. And we have Win Varble, Bryce Long, and Don Portress that are from Nashville. And then we have 3 local people that have been big or are big and are also songwriters. We have Scott McQuaig, and we have Alana Broughton, and we have Sam Donald, who's actually from the Gulf Coast. And they're all fantastic.
It's going to be a great songwriter show, Rebecca.
It's going to be a great show. Ken, can you stick with us?
Yes, I will. I want to tell you one story that's coming up on 103.3 SuperTalk.
Oh, perfect. Well, hang tight. After the break, we got more with Ken Rainey coming up next. TV.com. And, of course, you can always find us on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And today we're talking to a legend from one of those stations, SuperTalk 103.3 in Meridian. We've got legendary Ken Rainey on the phone with us, and he's got a new show launching there all about country music. What's the name of the show again, Ken?
All About Country Music.
I got it right. right? And without even trying, it sounds like then the title fits exactly what you will be talking about, which is all about country music. How long have you had a love affair with country music?
For probably better than, well, it started in 1953 at the first Jimmy Rogers Festival show at Ray Stadium here in Meridian. And Ernest Tubb, Hank Snow, Lefty Frizzell, Patsy Cline, and I could go on and on, but I won't take up your time. But in 1953, I was 14 years old, and I sat on the ground in front of the stage, and I saw every country artist you could ever name. And since that date, I have been in love with country music. And in Meridian, we have a little furniture store down on Front Street. And every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., they had this country singer that played the guitar and sung, had a live broadcast from the store. And I would sit there and watch him for the entire hour and listen to him sing country music. So when I got into radio, the first thing I did is I sold a live broadcast so I could go and play records there. And it worked out real good.
It worked out real good. Now, from what I can tell, you had a knack for making friends with country singers who were popular or celebrities at that time. And like a good old Southern boy would do, you also developed friendships with them, right, out of your hospitality and your friendliness. Was it strange to call those big names friends?
Well, it turned out that they were, and we got to do a lot of things that I never dreamed that we would get to do together. The story that's coming up tomorrow on 103.3 SuperTalk here in Meridian will be the story about Randy Travis, and that was a great story. I came into work on a Monday morning to do my morning show, 6 a.m. to 9, and there was a new record laying on the turntable that said On the Other Hand by Randy Travis, and I'd never heard of him. But I said, somebody must want me to play this record, so I played it. And then I had to play it a second time, and then I had to play it a third time, and my boss wasn't too happy because I played that record 4 times in my morning show in 3 hours. So I immediately called Warner Brothers in Nashville, and I said, how do I get in touch with Randy Travis? And they said, well, he's washing dishes over at Nashville Palace. And I said, well, I don't want him to wash dishes. I want him to come and do a show for me. So long story short, I called over to Nashville Palace and got Liv Hatch. That was his manager. And I told Liv I had T.G. Shepherd booked for 3 weeks from that date, and I wanted her to come do it. She said, well, we've never done a show outside of Nashville. What kind of money can you pay? And I said, well, all I got left's $500, but I could pay you $500. So they came, and he got his first standing ovation in Meridian, Mississippi's Temple Theater. And while I had his attention and Liv's attention, we shook hands on 3 additional dates. And we increased the price from $500 to $2,500 for the last date on 3 dates later. And so long story short, after I did my second date, I called back to do my third date, and they said, you'll have to talk to our in-house booking agent. I said, who is your in-house booking agent? And they said, well, Alan Wickham. I said, oh, well, put Alan on the phone. I know him. So we got on the phone. He said, Ken, you're not getting a third date on Randy Travis. I said, well, do me a favor. What you want me to do? I said, I want you to call Liv and tell her that I called and wanted my third date. He said, you're not getting a third date, but I'll call her. About an hour later, he called me back, and he said, what day you want that third date? All because of a handshake.
I was just going to say, back when handshakes meant something and people held up their end of the bargain, it was definitely a different time, and a different time in country music. Fast forward 50 years, it doesn't sound the same, does it?
No, it does not, and it's really sad that you can't do things on a handshake any longer. You got to have a 28-page contract to get anything done, which is really sad.
Well, I think, though, some things never change, though, and that is people's ear for good music and then people's ear for, loving those stories or those human interest pieces. And we forget, too, sometimes that the ones singing. They're people, and they have, lives behind the mic, which I think you connected with over the years and seeing them as humans. And that helped make friends out of them, correct?
It does. And, when you reach out and you get the big artists and the big stars, people always warn you about how temperamental they are, but I never found that with big artists. I found them to be easygoing. If you treat people the way you want to be treated, they're going to be nice to you.
Mr. Ken, do you remember the first song you ever played on the radio there in Meridian?
I sure do. Merle Haggard's called Swinging Doors. And it was from 8 until midnight because that's the only shift that I was qualified to run. So I ran 8 to midnight for about 2 years, and then I got moved up to 3 to 7 p.m. in the afternoon drive time, and then from 6 to 9 a.m. in morning drive. So I had a very short span from 8 p.m. to midnight, but I did play Merle Haggard quite often. And
is it true that you wore his tour bus out to get him to come to the festival there in Meridian?
How'd you know that? I did. That is amazing that you knew that. When Merle Haggard would play 100 miles from Meridian, as soon as they brought him on stage, I would go out to the bus and put Jimmy Rogers literature on his bus and let him know about the Jimmy Rogers Festival. And one night about 10 o'clock, I got a call from California, and it said, "Are you the guy that's been putting that," he used a word I can't use, "on our buses?" And I said, "I sure am." And he said, "Will you pick me up at the airport Saturday morning? We're going to see if we can come down there and do that thing." And so it worked.
Persistence definitely worked. And sometimes it doesn't. Is there ever an artist that you tried your hardest, Mr. Ken, to get to come to Temple Theater there in Meridian that just didn't work out, or, maybe it just wasn't, the right connection?
Well, the big ones, of course, I had to work really hard. Most of the time it would take me any place from 3 to 7 years to get a big artist. And Willie Nelson is one of those that I'm talking about. I never could get Willie on the phone to talk to him, and so I heard he was in Jackson, and my sister was in the radio business, and I said, "Look, you drive around and see if you can find Willie's bus parked at one of those hotels. I want to talk to him." And she said, "Well, I think our news guy just had an interview with him. He'll know where he is." So she called me back in a few minutes. She said, "Willie wants you to call him in room 222 at the Ramada Inn." I said, "You've already talked to him?" She said, "Yeah." So I called him, and he drove over and did the show for Jimmy Rogers the next night. And while I had him on the phone, I asked him, I said, "Well, look, I heard Jerry Jeff Walker was going to do your show." He said, "That's right." He said, "You call him over to Holiday Inn and tell him Willie said to come to Meridian." So I had Jerry Jeff and Willie Nelson on the same show.
So much history there in Meridian. So much excitement, too, around the new show for you. It's every Wednesday. Is it live, Mr. Ken? Can folks stream it, or will it be in a podcast? Maybe that's for Shelley. Will it be in podcast form? How can we keep up with it?
So it is streamed, and then it is launched on YouTube under All About Country on YouTube after we live stream the show. So you can go to the SuperTalk app and listen to it tomorrow from anywhere you want to and just stream it. And just go to Meridian 103.3 FM, and you'll hear all of Ken Rainey, All About Country, tomorrow at 9 a.m.
And if I might say, Rebecca, one other thing. The YouTube is collecting all of these stories. So right now we have 7 episodes up, one being Willie Nelson, one Merle Haggard, one Loretta Lynn, one Tammy Wynette, and one we're doing tomorrow on SuperTalk is Randy Travis. And so those are all still up on YouTube if you want to listen to any of them.
Have you had anybody call you, Mr. Ken, and ask you not to dig up any old bones?
Digging up bones would be a bad thing to do. I agree.
I'm wondering how you got all those people there to Meridian. You got to have some sort of secret up your sleeve. But I sure do appreciate your time, Mr. Ken. We're going to keep up with you and encourage everybody to listen to your show and come to Live from the Temple on April the 30th. So thank you for your time.
You don't know how much we appreciate you letting us be on with you, and tell Steve and Kim hello for us.
Will do. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.